Paris Hilton isn't just a name, she's a whole lifestyle. From jaw-dropping mansions and neon-lit supercars to fashion, fame, and her signature touch of glitter, Paris has turned her fortune into an art form. So, buckle up. Tonight, we're diving into the world of Paris Hilton, how she built her $400 million empire, where she lives, what she drives, and how she keeps the party going no matter what. If you love a good peek behind the velvet rope, hit that like button and let's step into the life only Paris could live. Paris Hilton's story doesn't start with spotlights or red carpets. It begins high above the city noise in a gilded suite at the Waldorf Astoria, where her childhood was anything but ordinary. Born in New York City on February 17, 1981, Paris Whitney Hilton entered a world already sparkling with promise and privilege. Her mother, Kathy, floated through parties and film sets as a socialite and actress, while her father, Richard, was busy navigating the empire built by Paris's great-grandfather, Conrad Hilton, the man who forever changed the world of luxury hotels. With three younger siblings, including Nikki Hilton, who would become her closest companion in the whirlwind of high society, Paris grew up living a life most could only imagine, splitting her days between the marble halls of Manhattan, sun-drenched summers in the Hamptons, and endless California afternoons in Beverly Hills. Her childhood playdates read like a future A-list lineup. There was Ivanka Trump with her polished poise, Nicole Richie always up for adventure, and a young Kim Kardashian who would soon become a global name in her own right. The Hiltons' friendship circle even extended to Michael Jackson, whose private concerts were an almost regular family affair. But life wasn't just glitz and glamour. At 15, Paris was enrolled in the Professional Children's School, mingling with the city's young creatives, and after a turbulent year at the Provo Canyon School, she left with a GED in hand and a sense that her real education, life in the fast lane, was just beginning. Before Paris Hilton was a household name, she was already learning how to command a room. First, as a child in front of the camera, striking poses that seemed effortless, even at an age when most kids were just learning their times tables. Modeling came naturally to her, and by the time other children were focused on after-school cartoons, Paris was signing with T Management and slipping into designer clothes for photo shoots that would eventually launch her into the orbit of the world's top fashion houses. As she grew older, her face became a fixture in glossy magazines and high-end ad campaigns, with Paris lending her signature look to brands like Guess, Christian Dior, and Marciano, all while collaborating with heavyweights at agencies like Ford Models. But it wasn't just her style that caught the world's attention. By 2001, Paris Hilton was everywhere. Her nights out in Manhattan lighting up gossip columns, her relationships with Hollywood's elite making headlines, and her name echoing through the city as New York's ultimate IT girl. Even after the frenzy of the early 2000s faded, Paris never stepped out of the spotlight. She brought her flair for reinvention to the runway, modeling for Kanye West's Yeezy 6 collection in 2018 and showing off her edge for Philip Plein's Plein Sport campaign in 2019, proving that the fashion world was still very much under her spell. Paris Hilton's life has always played out on a stage far bigger than most, but nothing could have prepared her for the media hurricane that hit in late 2003. Practically overnight, Paris found herself at the center of an internet wildfire when a private tape with her then-boyfriend Rick Salomon was leaked without her consent. Instead of fading away, the scandal was thrown into the spotlight when Salomon, seeing opportunity in infamy, began marketing the tape himself as One Night in Paris. While the headlines churned and lawsuits flew, eventually earning Paris a reported $400,000 settlement, the world was watching to see what she'd do next. Remarkably, just 3 weeks after the video's release, Paris didn't retreat. She made her television debut in spectacular fashion. Teaming up with her childhood friend Nicole Richie, she launched The Simple Life, a show that dropped the two socialites into the chaos of everyday America, trading couture for coveralls and luxury for life on a farm. There were whispers that the scandal would doom the show, that audiences would turn away. Instead, viewers tuned in by the millions, hooked by Paris's self-aware humor and the unexpected chemistry between the girls and their real-world challenges. The success was instant. Suddenly, Paris was not just a tabloid sensation, but a certified reality TV star, fielding offers from fashion giants like guests for international campaigns, making playful appearances on Saturday Night Live with Jimmy Fallon, and becoming a face that defined a new era of pop culture. The Simple Life ran for 5 wild, witty seasons and laid the groundwork for a reality TV revolution. Paris never stopped evolving. She popped up in cameos, starred in her own shows like The World According to Paris and Hollywood Love Story, and kept fans guessing with every new chapter, from This Is Paris to her recent culinary experiment, Cooking with Paris, and her journey into marriage with Paris in Love. Each twist of her story only made Paris Hilton more impossible to ignore. A pop icon who's always found a way to turn controversy into her own kind of magic. By 2004, Paris Hilton wasn't just a reality TV sensation. She was turning her life into a living brand, complete with a wink and a smirk for anyone watching. Her book, Confessions of an Heiress, a tongue-in-cheek peek behind the pose, co-written with Merle Ginsberg, strutted onto shelves and, despite being gleefully shredded by critics, still sashayed up the New York Times bestseller list. While most people would have been happy with a single hit, Paris was building an empire. She dove headfirst into launching a perfume line that would go on to sell like wildfire, opened her own chain of nightclubs, and, as if on a dare, started sketching jewelry designs that would soon carry her name. She wasn't slowing down. By the time 2005 faded out, she'd dropped another confessional book, Your Heiress Diary, and just a year later, decided to test her pipes with her very own self-titled pop album, all while founding her own record label. The music industry may have raised an eyebrow, but Paris had an uncanny knack for turning the unexpected into the headline. When the 2010s rolled in, she surprised the world again. This time behind the DJ booth. What started as a lark quickly became a lucrative gig, and by 2014, Time magazine named her the world's highest-paid female DJ, spinning at clubs where her name alone could sell out the room. Her business ventures seemed endless. A tracksuit line here, a hit sunglasses collab with Key Australia there, and, never missing a beat, she voiced a role on the YouTube animated series Rainbow High in 2022. The story continued with Paris, the Memoir, in 2023, and her ongoing podcast, I Am Paris, keeping her voice front and center for fans old and new. Through all of it, the media couldn't resist her, always painting Paris as the ultimate party girl, the quintessential dumb blonde or valley girl, repeating catchphrases like, "That's hot," until they echoed in every corner of pop culture. But beneath the tiara and the playful persona was a calculated sense of branding, something Paris herself called an act. One she'd have to break through to prove her business savvy in a world eager to box her in. Her wildest years, from 2003 to 2009, became known as her golden age of tabloid glory, with even the Huffington Post declaring 2007 as the beginning of her media end. But Paris never really faded. She just moved with the times, gathering millions of followers across Instagram and Twitter, forever one step ahead, always reminding the world that her story and her empire was far from over. Step through the doors of Paris Hilton's former Hollywood Hills mansion, and it feels less like entering a house and more like stepping onto the set of an exclusive, sunlit dream. The moment you arrive at 1467 Kings Road, you're greeted by a dramatic facade that hints at the old Hollywood glamour within. The marble foyer opens into a dazzling living space where light pours in through oversized windows, casting a golden sheen across velvet couches, mirrored tables, and custom chandeliers. Every room has its own touch of Hilton sparkle, with hand-picked designer decor, plush rugs, and original art lining the walls, all of which come with the house, meaning every luxurious detail Paris loved is ready and waiting for its next owner. The heart of the home is the chef's kitchen, a sleek showcase of Viking appliances, marble counters, and a breakfast nook that overlooks the city skyline. Whether you're cooking for a crowd or just grabbing coffee before a busy day, the kitchen flows effortlessly into a formal dining room, ideal for hosting dinners that feel more like events. Beyond, a wood-paneled media room sits tucked away. Think cozy movie marathons with friends or a private retreat when you need a break from the LA buzz. The guest quarters are equally inviting, designed so that overnight visitors experience the same five-star comfort as the main residence. Upstairs, the primary suite is pure sanctuary, with a sprawling bedroom, fireplace, and a spa-style bathroom outfitted with soaking tubs and walk-in showers. Think morning sunlight streaming in as you gaze out at the endless city views. 3 more bedrooms and stylishly appointed baths complete the upper floor, perfect for family, friends, or even a home office with a view. But the real magic happens outside, where California living comes into its own. Step out into the backyard, and you'll find a resort-worthy pool and bubbling spa framed by palm trees and manicured hedges. There's a cabana for lounging in the shade, a fire pit for evening gatherings, and plenty of open space for yoga at sunrise or glamorous garden parties that carry on well after dark. Add in the rare, attached parking lot. No more circling the block for a spot. And it's easy to see why this house is called an entertainer's paradise. And with its perch just above Sunset Boulevard, you're only minutes away from the beating heart of Los Angeles. Whether you're headed out for a night at the clubs or just want to take in the twinkling city lights from your private terrace. The combination of iconic address, breathtaking design, and all the details that made it Paris Hilton's personal haven make this Hollywood Hills mansion more than a home. It's a chance to live a little bit of the legend every single day. When Paris Hilton set her sights on Manhattan, she wasn't just looking for another glamorous address. She needed a home as unique and versatile as her own lifestyle. With 7 beloved dogs in tow, Paris found the perfect urban escape in a sprawling penthouse nestled in the heart of downtown, paying nearly $5 million for a slice of New York luxury that blends modern flair with historic charm. Perched atop the iconic Broadway McKenna building at 738 Broadway, a former 1867 warehouse that's been masterfully transformed by architects Carl Pfizer and André Escobar into a haven for the city's elite, Paris's penthouse stands out as a full-floor loft, rare even among Manhattan's most coveted properties. Stepping out of the private elevator, you're greeted by a light-filled foyer that opens into a living room worthy of any magazine cover. The centerpiece, a sleek white Kolkata marble fireplace, perfectly paired with wide plank Brazilian cherry hardwood floors and nearly 12-foot ceilings, all flooded with natural light from oversized windows overlooking Cooper Square. The penthouse's 2,396 square feet are designed for both entertaining and everyday living, but the showstopper has to be the massive 950-square-foot rooftop terrace. An outdoor oasis with panoramic views stretching across NoHo and the city skyline, an ideal playground for Paris's pups, and a prime spot for cocktail parties under the stars. The master suite is a study in serene luxury, featuring more of that natural hardwood, a chic platform bed, and a cozy sitting area for unwinding after a whirlwind day. Subtle recessed lighting creates a soft glow, while the master bath is pure indulgence. Think walk-in shower, jacuzzi tubs wrapped in Calicut gold marble, and fixtures from Graf, Kohler, and Jado, all coming together in a space that's both spa-like and stylish. Even the countertops and walls play their part, mixing Kolkata gold marble with Caesar stone surfaces for a clean, sophisticated finish. No detail is overlooked in the chef's kitchen either. The design is both striking and functional, with dark brown quartz counters, high-gloss cabinetry, and an island topped with crisp white quartz. Top-tier appliances, Wolf oven and stove, Miele refrigerator, dishwasher, coffee maker, and a Sub-Zero wine cooler are tucked seamlessly into the layout, perfect for everything from lavish dinner parties to quiet mornings with espresso. The initial asking price for this terrace duplex was $8 million, but in true Hilton fashion, Paris snapped it up for a savvy $5 million, turning the penthouse into yet another trophy in her growing real estate portfolio. Just steps from Washington Square Park and surrounded by the energy of Manhattan's coolest neighborhoods, this home is more than an address. It's a statement of Paris Hilton's eye for style, comfort, and a touch of city magic, where every room has a story and every sunrise brings a new view of the city that never sleeps. In the golden haze of August 2021, Paris Hilton and Carter Reum took their taste for luxury to new heights with the purchase of a sun-drenched Malibu mansion, a property that captures the spirit of California living at its finest. Tucked along a coveted stretch of coastline and acquired for just over $8 million, this beachfront retreat is as much a sanctuary as it is a statement, blending the original charm of its 1955 construction with sleek contemporary upgrades. Step inside, and you're greeted by a tranquil palette of whites, grays, and soft salmon tones. An atmosphere that's both stylish and serene, instantly inviting you to leave the outside world behind. Every inch of the home, spanning roughly 3,000 square feet, is bathed in natural light, thanks to walls of glass that bring the ocean right into the living room. The open-plan design unites living and dining spaces around a cozy fireplace, creating a perfect setting for relaxed evenings or star-studded gatherings. The kitchen is the heart of the house, with rounded-edge granite countertops and state-of-the-art appliances all framed by mesmerizing views of the Pacific. It's here that Paris has filmed segments for her Cooking with Paris series, proof that in this kitchen, every meal comes with a side of inspiration from the sea. Upstairs, hardwood floors and fireplaces add warmth to airy bedrooms, while the bathrooms deliver a spa-like escape, featuring stone bathtubs and an ambiance designed for pure relaxation. Step out onto one of two ocean-facing balconies, and you'll find seating areas and hot showers. A perfect spot to watch the waves roll in or catch the last blush of sunset. The home's wraparound amenity deck is a showstopper, offering an outdoor dining area, barbecue, and steps that lead down to a private lift, ready to whisk you straight to the sands of La Costa Beach. A walled garden and outdoor shower complete the sense of indoor-outdoor harmony, maximizing every square inch of this less-than-an-acre lot for peak enjoyment. Even parking is effortless, with a two-car garage tucked discreetly away while the gentle crash of surf becomes the house's natural soundtrack. As Paris herself has said, there's something magnetic about this spot. Panoramic ocean views at sunrise, lazy afternoons on the terrace, and evenings spent listening to the Pacific's timeless lullaby. The Malibu mansion isn't just a house. It's a daily invitation to live where the sea meets the sky, in a retreat perfectly crafted for comfort, style, and a little touch of Hollywood magic. Paris Hilton's car collection is a parade of speed, style, and pure personality. Each machine as unique and over-the-top as the woman herself. On any given day in Beverly Hills, you might spot her behind the wheel of her customized BMW i8 Roadster, a futuristic hybrid she picked up for $165,000. It's not just about the turbocharged three-cylinder engine and dual electric motors that blast the car from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in a thrilling 4 seconds flat. It's also the plush leather interior and all the high-tech touches that make the i8 feel like a luxury spaceship gliding through LA traffic. Paris's love for adrenaline isn't confined to city streets. She's taken her passion all the way to the racing circuit, founding her own MotoGP team, Paris Hilton Supermarché VIP. When her star rider Maverick Vinales clinched the MotoGP World Championship in 2011, Paris celebrated in signature style by gifting herself a bright red Ferrari California Spider convertible. With its roaring V8 engine, the Ferrari is a symphony of speed, leaping from 0 to 100 in under 4 seconds and topping out at 310 kilometers per hour. A trophy and a toy all at once. But nothing in her garage turns heads like her Barbie pink Bentley Continental GT, an icon of glamour that cost her $200,000 before she even started customizing. Paris didn't stop at a coat of bubblegum paint. She added a jaw-dropping $280,000 diamond-encrusted panel. Underneath all the sparkle, the Bentley packs a mighty 626-horsepower W112 engine and rockets to 60 miles per hour in just 3 seconds. Its lush leather and glossy wood interior nearly as dazzling as its color. Paris's taste for luxury SUVs is on display with her Mercedes G-Wagon AMG, a gift from then-boyfriend Thomas Gross. This $125,000 beast blends military style with modern comfort, boasting a twin-turbo V12 engine, 3-zone climate control, and a cockpit worthy of a private jet. The collection only gets more extravagant from there. Her Rolls-Royce Ghost, a $354,000 monument to British craftsmanship, pampers its passengers with the thickest carpets, hand-stitched leather, real wood, and even a twinkling star-lit LED ceiling that feels straight out of a fairy tale. For sheer supercar drama, Paris also owns a Lexus LFA, the legendary coupe whose 10-year development produced a 552-horsepower V10 engine co-created with Yamaha, famous for its screaming musical exhaust note and $400,000 price tag. Nestled among these modern icons sits the Mercedes-Benz SLR McLaren, a rare collaboration that fuses British engineering with German power. Its hand-built engine sits perfectly balanced behind the front axle, ensuring both brutal acceleration and elegant handling. Every car in Paris Hilton's fleet is more than just a status symbol. It's an extension of her persona. Fast, rare, impossible to ignore, and always ready to steal the spotlight. Throughout her whirlwind career in the spotlight, Paris Hilton has woven philanthropy into her life, with the same energy she brings to her brand. She's not just a guest at glamorous fundraising galas, she's a hands-on advocate, showing up at children's hospitals, orphanages, and shelters around the world, often out of the camera's view. Her heart for kids is evident in her long-standing involvement with organizations like the Starlight Children's Foundation and Make-A-Wish, and her generosity to the Children's Hospital Los Angeles, where she's donated over $100,000 and had a room named in her honor. These efforts haven't gone unnoticed. The Starlight Foundation and the American Humane Association both recognized her compassion with their highest honors, from the Heart of Gold Award to the National Humanitarian Award. Paris's support isn't limited to a single cause or city. In 2011, she added her voice to the LGBT rights movement by backing NOH8, and she stepped up for international causes, raising funds for Japanese disaster relief with the American Red Cross, and later, in Ibiza, helping children with disabilities with a $100,000 donation. In the wake of the 2017 Central Mexico earthquake, she rolled up her sleeves, traveled to affected neighborhoods, delivered supplies, and donated $350,000 toward rebuilding homes, showing that her help went far beyond writing checks. Her creativity even finds a way into her giving. She's designed nail polish lines that send a slice of the proceeds to animal rescues. And she's used her influence to host events like Rock the Runway to support children's medical care. The Cash and Rocket Auto Rally saw her speeding across Europe with an all-female crew to raise money for African and global charities, proving that even a joyride can make a difference. When the world shut down during the COVID-19 pandemic, Paris spun a DJ set at Trillerfest to fuel donations for No Kid Hungry and Music Cares, and her merchandise collections funneled funds to support frontline workers. Yet her most personal campaign emerged after the release of her documentary, This Is Paris, where she revealed the emotional and physical abuse she endured at Provo Canyon School as a teenager. That confession ignited the Plantran Breaking Code Silence movement, rallying survivors of abusive youth facilities across the country. Paris transformed her story into action, speaking out at rallies, testifying before the Utah legislature, and helping to pass new regulations that demanded accountability and oversight for treatment centers. Her advocacy took her to the U.S. Capitol, standing with lawmakers to push for the Accountability for Congregate Care Act, a landmark bill protecting kids in institutional settings, and again in 2022, championing improvements to America's child welfare system before Congress. By 2023, she was instrumental in the bipartisan passage of the Stop Institutional Child Abuse Act, moving from survivor to policy shaper as the bill sailed through Congress and onto the president's desk. Paris Hilton's adulthood has always been under a white-hot spotlight, with every headline feeding into her legend as the original jet-set party queen. Her life became the ultimate tabloid spectacle: late nights, A-list friendships, a carousel of high-profile romances, and a reputation for living louder and more extravagantly than anyone else in the room. While the public relished the spectacle, critics were never far behind, eager to dissect every over-the-top party and headline-grabbing moment. Alongside the glitz and chaos, Paris became famous for her love of small dogs, especially her beloved Chihuahua, Tinkerbell. The tiny, ever-present sidekick was a fixture on red carpets and in the pages of glossy magazines, often tucked under Paris's arm as if she were as essential as a designer clutch. Tinkerbell was more than a pet. She was a pop culture icon in her own right, even appearing in every season of The Simple Life. After 14 years together, the world mourned along with Paris when Tinkerbell passed away in 2015. Hilton's devotion to her furry companions didn't stop there. She once commissioned a 300-square-foot pet mansion, complete with air conditioning, heating, and bespoke designer furniture, at a cost that would make even the boldest realtors blush. When it comes to homes, Paris's property portfolio reads like a wish list for the world's most glamorous jet-setter. She spent years dividing her time between a plush Beverly Hills base, a Mulholland Estates hideaway, a sun-drenched oceanfront Malibu house, and a penthouse in Manhattan, each one as stylish and meticulously curated as her red carpet looks. In January 2025, however, her Malibu dream home was tragically lost to the Palisades fire, a reminder that even the most enviable lifestyles aren't immune to heartbreak. Paris's love life has been a wild ride through the pages of celebrity gossip. At 19, her late-night outings with Leonardo DiCaprio made headlines and landed her an early Vanity Fair feature, though she denied any romance. From there, her list of boyfriends became a roll call of pop culture's who's who. Actor Edward Furlong, poker player Rick Salomon, the other half of her infamous tape, model Jason Shaw, singer Nick Carter, Greek heirs Paris Hilton and Stavros Niarchos, Good Charlotte's Benji Madden, The Hills' Doug Reinhardt, nightclub owner Cy Waits, model River V. Perry, and businessman Thomas Gross. Each relationship carried its own blend of glamour, chaos, and public fascination, often ending as dramatically as it began. She was even engaged more than once, most notably to Jason Shaw, Paris Hilton, and actor Chris Zilka, before finding lasting happiness with businessman Carter Ruhm. Their whirlwind romance led to an engagement in early 2021 and a star-studded Los Angeles wedding that November, followed by the arrival of their son and daughter via surrogacy in 2023, marking a new, more settled chapter in Hilton's story. Of course, one episode that shadowed much of her life is the infamous 2003 sex tape, leaked just as she was about to become a reality TV star. What began as a private moment became a public circus, spawning lawsuits and endless tabloid speculation. Salomon, her ex, sued her family while Paris sued for her privacy, with the whole saga ending in a tangled legal settlement that reportedly brought Hilton $400,000 plus a share of the tape's profits. Yet years later, Paris insisted she never pocketed a dime from the scandal, pointing instead to her wildly successful fragrance line and business ventures as proof that her fortune comes from her own hustle, not the chaos left in her wake. Through triumphs and scandals, Paris Hilton has managed to stay at the center of pop culture, transforming the scrutiny of her personal life into a kind of high-wire performance, sometimes shocking, sometimes vulnerable, but always uniquely her own.